everyone, my name's Kelly Rifkin and welcome to our Kids Day Spectacular. From toddlers to tweens, there's something for everyone. Now I know it's dark and we're standing in the middle of an empty field, but you'll just have to trust me that this is a fantastic way to start our day. So come on, let's go for a ride. Here's adventure number 1. Even the little ones, as young as 7, can hop aboard and fly the friendly skies. The kids can also get involved with the setup and packing up of the balloon, a grown-up privilege in any kid's language. There's really no way to describe the feeling of lifting off the ground and floating up into the sky, but the look on those kids' faces says it all. Hot air ballooning may not be the cheapest kids' activity in the world, but let's face it, you cannot put a price on an experience and a memory like this one. Okay, well, maybe you can, but you might be pleasantly surprised to learn that a Wednesday winter flight with Cloud9 will only set you back $230, about the price of 2 video games. Which one do you think they'll remember when they're 30? And now the verdict that really counts. What did the kids think of it?
It was like really amazing, the view, and like I just loved it.
The view, I'd have to say.
Yeah, and also seeing the balloon get like blown up was also really cool.
Yeah, and the burner blowing up the balloon, that was fun.
I loved it. It was like you could see the city and you could see all these houses. It was really nice.
For more information, give the guys at Cloud9 a call or check out their website. Wow, that was awesome! I don't know about you guys, but I'm starving. We better get these kids into the kitchen and start cooking. Let's go! Fairy beds aren't exactly a health food. On the upside, they're dead easy to make and they're delicious. First of all, heat the oven to about 200 degrees. But be careful with little ones around because even this new Cool Touch oven isn't exactly cool. Defrost a sheet of puff pastry for a couple of minutes, then cut into quarters and halves. Pop them in the oven and watch as these sheets turn into beds. Meanwhile, set the kids to work whipping up that cream. About 12 minutes should see your beds cooked, another 5 to cool. Simply split them in half, fill with jam and cream and sprinkle with sifted icing sugar. Look at that! Good enough for any fairy to sleep in and perfect with a cuppa. What should we do next? Well, we're already in the kitchen, so let's have a look at the fridge. This fridge farm from Leapfrog lets you and your 1-year-old mix and match real or imagined animals. The pig sheep is my favourite, and tells you the sound that animal might or actually does make. At 2, graduate to fridge phonics. Each letter talks, sings and tells you its sound. At 3, duel your toddler over said letters with the letter crazy game. If you thought that was impressive, check this out. At just 3 years of age, baby can be wielding a mouse and navigating a real keyboard with a click start computer from Leapfrog.
By the time they're 4, they're ready for NASA. Just kidding. But they might be ready to learn how to read. For a 4 to 8-year-old, this tag reader from Leapfrog is ridiculously impressive. Let's have a look. All right, Annie, give this a go.
Aussie, otter.
There's a tiny camera at the tip which reads letters, words, a whole page, or even a whole book. I'll say it again, wow.
Educational technology can be amazing, but regular books are pretty fantastic too. Here's a quick look at what's new.
The Odd Egg from Macmillan is a really sweet picture book, but it has a kick in the end. Andy Griffith's The Big Fat Cow That Went Kapow will have you and the kids in stitches. And for big kids, 8 and over, the Chain of Charms series by Sydney-sider Kate Forsyth is a real page-turner.
Wait, there's no time for relaxing and reading now. There's still loads to do. Come on. Let's go, let's go. All right, I've got my egg. I'm ready to do some gardening. We ready to go gardening?
Yay!
What? Never planted an egg before? You're about to find out how.
This is an ubi eggling. Arm the kids with a teaspoon and crack the top off. Inside there's a little garden complete with soil and seeds just waiting to grow. The best part is getting the kids into the garden with you. They'll be stoked when their seedlings actually grow into plants. From cacti to petunias to herbs, there are loads to choose from.
Here we go, we're watering them and we're done. We've had a beautiful sunshiny day today, perfect weather. But the weather isn't always perfect and sometimes you can't get outside with the kids. Well, we've got plenty of things to do indoors for rainy days.
Craft activities for one. Don't think Nana's knitting, think glam and glitter. Look at all this cool stuff we got from Spotlight. Thanks guys, we love that store. Try these fancy masks, a girly favourite. Just cover a paper mask in glue, top with glitter, add a few feathers and jewels, and you're off to the ball. The boys may prefer something more like a Batman black mask or something altogether different like door hangings. We've just used stick-on letters and stickers to make these fabulous hangings.
For the really little ones, try these pencil characters. They are super cute, easy to make and cheap.
First, wind a pipe cleaner around your pencil, then glue some pom-poms together to make a bee or a butterfly, add some googly eyes, stick it to your pencil and you're away. For more crafty ideas, check out the Creatives website. It's very cool.
Well, it's been a really big, spectacular kid day. I'd like to sit down and relax for a minute, but the kids still want to play. Can we do both at the same time? I think we can.
Interactive DVDs are the answer. The Little Einstein series from Disney are a perfect example. From Egypt to the Great Wall of China and even outer space, each episode features painting and music by famed artists. It's about time learning classic culture became fun. Well, we've been up and away in a hot air balloon, cooked, learnt, had some craft, found out what was new, watched some DVDs, been out in the garden. I'd say it was a kids' day spectacular.
So don't have a cats in the cradle moment in 10 or 20 years' time. Get out there today and do stuff with the kids. I'm Kelly McCourt for EWTV saying, I think I might just have one more of those fairy beds. What do you think? Yes? See you later.
I'm Lou Gregory from EWTV. Are you tired of working 9 till 5, stuck in an office, bored of the routine? Time for a career change? Well, imagine laughing for a living, dancing for dollars, or perhaps polishing for a penny. Today we are going to look at some of Australia's strangest jobs. Let's go. Have you ever heard of a laughter therapist? Well, I'm here with Helene Grover, who is sure to get you giggling. What made you become a laughter therapist?
Well, primarily it was because I lost it. I actually stopped laughing. I had a lot of personal problems at the time, and I had to go find it again.
So what actually happens in one of your laughing workshops?
A lot.
Can we find out a little bit more?
Yeah, well, I think we're going to do that anyway, aren't we? If you've had sex in the last week, could you jump up and shout, yippee? Would you like it to be in the house or in the garden or your place or mine? Yeah, and then you negotiate lights on, lights off, candles, wine, anything. People are constrained by a number of reasons, and I've been exploring all of those reasons, why they don't laugh enough. A couple of the ones that are very important, though, are people are afraid of what will people think of me. And
they get embarrassed.
Yeah, they get embarrassed, and they don't want to be foolish. So it's okay to laugh when everybody's laughing and when there's a joke.
Have you ever had somebody who didn't laugh in one of your workshops?
Yes, I did. I had a group last week like that. It was interesting, and it was a corporate job, and there was a determination of, I'm not going to do this. I think there was one very attractive young blonde lady sitting there looking lovely, you know, and she had her legs crossed, which I can't quite do, and her arms were like this, and it was like, because most people don't want to be made a fool of. And I think that's where the divide, that's part of why we don't laugh enough, is because people are afraid of looking foolish. And it's a shame, because when you look at all the benefits of laughter and all the things that it can do, not just physiologically, but what it can help us to do with coping with life. And I mean, I had breast cancer and I lived through that, and eventually when I brought my laughter work into it, I felt better with it.
Thanks, Helene, for joining us here on EWTV, and you keep laughing.
And you do too. Thanks for having me.
Can you believe that you can belly dance full-time? Strange but true. Jane Jardines is a professional belly dancer and has been performing for over 13 years. From bridal showers to kids' parties, Jane has been known to dance up to 6 different locations in a single night. And did I forget to mention she's even won a Logie? Who'd have thought there's such a thing as the belly dance Logies? Hi Jane, how are you?
Hi, good Louise.
Now tell me, when did you first start belly dancing and what did you love about it?
I started about 13 years ago, and when I started it just made me feel very, very empowered, and it gave me a lot of confidence, and it's just so good for women to do it for their own personal self-esteem as well.
And tell me about the costume.
The costumes are all made in Cairo or Lebanon. You get different designers, and they're all intricately beaded with crystals and glass beadings, so there's a lot of work involved in them. They're very expensive out here to buy.
And how many performances would you do on an average week?
On a Saturday night I average 6 performances. So yeah, tonight is six jobs, 1 wedding, 1 engagement, and restaurants and birthday parties.
And not only do you belly dance, you also teach belly dance classes, don't you?
That's right, I teach for women of all ages and all nationalities, and they love it.
And is it true the bigger the belly, the better the dancer?
Absolutely. So the more voluptuous the woman is, the better the movements will look. So the thinner you are, the harder you have to work the body.
Well, thanks so much, Jane, for coming on EWTV.
Thank you, Louise. It's been my pleasure.
straight from the horse's mouth, I've heard there's no other job quite like it. Sorry, what's that? What's that cocktail? You've got a toothache? Well, I know just the person to see. I'm here with Jay Charnock, and he's an equine dental practitioner, otherwise known as a horse dentist. So tell me about your job.
Basically with our job, we just aim to keep the horse's mouth 100% balanced. We try and keep any problems. Horses' teeth actually grow 2 to 3 mils a year, so they can often get a lot of abnormalities with that growing, basically because of the feeds that they're eating with all the processed feed we're giving horses for competition and everything these days. So we get in there, file their teeth down, keep the teeth all nice and smooth and keep them balanced, which also will keep them a lot more happy, and also it affects their skeletal system, so it can make the horse a hell of a lot more happy. I've had the vet come out and sedate the horse so we can do 100% of a job on this horse. He hasn't had dental work for quite some time, so he's got some very sharp points and some problems up the back of his mouth. I'm just cleaning him out at the moment, as you can see.
Lovely. And what kind of training do you need to become a horse dentist?
With the training, we can study in America or study here in Australia. We're actually starting a new education system which is going to be run through a college down in, or a university down in Victoria. The education has different levels. There's your certified level, your advanced certification and master certification. Having the horse sedated to do this sort of work is actually better for the horse because they don't really remember it. Plus I can do 100% of the job, which is getting right up the back of their mouth, which is very tight. And it's not hurting the horse at all. If the horse is unsedated, even just doing your basic sort of dentistry with your hand tools, they'll still fight you and want to carry on a little bit as soon as you get up the back of their mouth. The horse is going to be a lot more comfortable when you ride him. It's also going to get a lot more nutrients out of its feed, which saves money to the owner as well.
Horses are associated with horse racing. If they have bad teeth, does that affect their race?
It sure does. Teeth problems can actually affect a horse. Like I said, if they've got, similar to us, if we have a toothache, then we chew on one side of our mouth, which makes our jaw really sore on the other side, which then will affect how we carry our head, and will shoot down through our neck and into our back and off into muscles. So horses have the same problem. If a horse is under the age of 5, they have a lot of differences, a lot of things happening in their mouth, so I like to see them every 6 months. Also, an older horse from 18 onwards, certain teeth start to expire. So what we like to do is check them sort of depending on how their teeth are, maybe every 6 months.
And I'm killing to ask you this question. Have you ever been called a horse odontist?
No, I haven't. There's been a lot of people actually when I meet them and they say, what do you do for a job? And I say I'm a horse dentist or equine dental practitioner. They're like, wow, you're the first one we've ever met of those. But yeah, a few names, but never been a orthodontist.
Well, thank you very much, Jay, for joining us on EWTV.
Thank you.
Well, I think we've seen enough strange jobs for one day. So next time you're sitting staring blankly at the computer screen, abusing the photocopier, or perhaps falling asleep in a meeting, why not plan your next career move? You never know. You could end up teaching a belly dancing horse to laugh. I'm Lou Gregory from EWTV. Thanks for watching.
It truly is the greatest city in the world, with countless cultural attractions and a rich artistic tradition. To various natural splendours right in the city, Sydney is undoubtedly the shining star of the Southern Hemisphere. Will this shining star eventually burn out and fall from the sky? Hi, I'm Shane Simmons, reporting for EWTV. Climate change. Is it here? Is it real? Are the consequences disastrous? We're coming to you from Balmain East on Sydney Harbour, and today we will shed some light on the implications of climate change for Sydney. With the onset of rising sea levels, harsher storms, longer droughts and soaring temperatures all becoming a reality, what is happening to our climate? A report issued by Australia's CSIRO uncovered the harsh realities of climate change for Sydney. It revealed that life by 2070 could be completely transformed. In just one generation, temperatures could rise by 4.8 degrees Celsius, plunging us into a near permanent state of drought. With the onset of rising temperatures comes rising sea levels. They are expected to rise by 8 to 90 centimetres by 2100. Potentially beaches such as Bondi and Maroubra, as well as millions of dollars worth of waterfront properties along our coastline, are vulnerable to advancing shorelines and storm surges. Will such a doomsday prediction eventuate? Is there any light at the end of the tunnel, or is Sydney's future vanishing before its very eyes? Well, I went to find out. Come with me. We're inside the Weather Channel offices in North Sydney, and today we will speak with Senior Meteorologist Dick Whittaker. Dick has over 30 years experience in meteorology and has authored a number of books, all of which shed light on climate change. Let's go meet him. Well, Dick Whittaker, thanks for joining us today. Our climate is changing all the time. Our storms are becoming more frequent. Our droughts are lasting longer. Dick, how did the phenomenon of climate change begin? Is it something that has been occurring for many, many years, or is it something that has only popped up in the most recent decades?
Yeah, well, climate change itself is a natural process. The climate of the Earth always changes, but what we've noted in the last 150 or so years is we now think that because of tipping huge amounts of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, that we're actually having a man-made effect on the climate.
Well, Dick, I want to turn our attention to Sydney now, and there are dire predictions for Sydney that by 2070 sea levels could rise by 9 to 80 centimetres, and we're also going to see a rise in temperatures globally and more so in Sydney by around 4.8 degrees. Can you shed some more light on some of those implications for Sydney?
Yeah, well, some climatologists have actually come out with a whole raft of predictions, which we can't be certain about, but some of the indications are that we'll probably have less rainfall, in fact a downward rainfall trend, not just in Sydney but across much of eastern Australia. And that should be accompanied by increasing heat waves, increasing number of heat waves, drought conditions, and also rising sea levels. And the rising sea levels could have quite an impact on the shorelines around Sydney. What we could expect, I think, is increasing sea levels, which will cause storm events to be a little bit more severe. So increased beach erosion, that style of thing, in the next 50 or 60 years or so. But we don't really know how severe that's going to be. But it's a matter of concern.
Well, Dick, I want to turn to your book now, and you've written a number of books about climate change. I find it very interesting because one of your books is targeted at a younger audience. Now, we're looking at kids between the ages of 6 to 12, and it's fantastic the way in which you have tried to appeal to the younger generations. Dick, what was your inspiration behind creating the books targeted particularly at those younger audiences?
We became, at the Weather Channel, we became very interested in this. We produced a program called Weather Ed, which was directed to school children. And in writing this, we became very interested in communicating these ideas to school children. In fact, the Weather Channel, we actually toured around many Australian schools and spoke to children about their concerns, looking into the future, what sort of things concern them about the weather and climate change. And we found they were very, very receptive to these issues, and they knew a lot about it, in fact a lot more than many adults we came across. So they were interested in it, so that was a motivation, of course, to write a book that would appeal to children.
Well, Dick, has the damage been done? Is it too late to turn back time, if I could use that phrase?
Yeah, no, it's never too late. Certainly, I think we're going to see a continuing rise in global temperatures for the next 100 years or so. All the models indicate that. it doesn't mean the end of the human race. It means we're going to have to do things differently. Water is going to be a big issue, of course, in Australia now. The global climate models actually predict that some parts of the world, such as the high latitude areas, will probably have increased rainfall, but the mid latitude areas, such as Australia, will probably continue to have a decrease in rainfall. And we're seeing that, of course, with water restrictions in capital cities and the Murray-Darling River system. So we're going to have to do things differently, and we're going to have to be more water smart than we have been in the last 50 years or so. And the public are usually pretty good with that. The reaction of the public to water restrictions, for example, has been very good. And once the issues are pointed out to the public, they tend to be good. So to answer your question, it's not too late, but we're going to have to do things differently.
Well, Dick, I commend you on the way in which you have endeavoured to not only shed light on the people of today, but also the people of tomorrow. You're certainly an inspiration, and your knowledge on weather is unbelievable, and we thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, thanks, Shane. It's a pleasure.
As we have ascertained, it's certainly not too late to act now, but if we do, it must be in a thoughtful and diligent manner. Dick Whittaker, thanks for joining us.
Thanks again, Shane.
Sydney, what we face is perhaps one of the greatest challenges in modern-day civilisation, but we can all play our part in reducing our footprint on the globe. We can achieve this by making every hour an Earth hour, by switching on up here and switching off down there. I'm Shane Simmons reporting for EWTV.